Hi, Greg. I'm Luke Geffs. I'm the Director of Content at FOW, which writes about derivatives and trading markets in Europe and in North America and Asia, globally, really. So nice to meet you. Maybe you'd just like to tell us a bit about sort of who you are and what you're doing.
Thanks, Luke. Great to meet you, to have you in our headquarters office. My name is Greg Rubin. I'm head of Axi Select, which is an all-inclusive, unique capital allocation program. It's a prop firm that we created just over a year ago, and it is unique in the sense it runs completely on live accounts. There's no demo accounts, and we don't charge registration fees. So we have a model that doesn't exist in the marketplace besides us.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that takes us nicely to my first question. Much has been made in recent months and years about the issues, the challenges that proprietary trading firms. So what are the key challenges being faced by prop firms at the moment, Greg?
Yeah, great question. And, you know, we just passed the anniversary of when sort of everything started to go a bit haywire. It was 1st of September last year when the MFF news broke. That their assets were being frozen by the CFTC, and that's what started a year of prop firms shutting down, sort of a spiraling of events. And yeah, we sort of unpacked that. I guess, you know, nobody knew what was going on when it came out, and ultimately what started from that firm spiraled from regulatory issues into MetaQuote into ultimately the brokers. So with firms relying on MetaQuote being the face of the Forex industry, the face of the prop firm industry, they were under pressure. They sort of pulled back ultimately from the space because of the potential, so we've been led to believe, of US clients being able to sign up. And as you will know, US clients are not allowed to trade CFDs. They are banned in America. And the structure that was set up is you had these prop firms who were using the broker's MetaQuote license to trade on the MetaQuote platform. MetaTrader had no visibility of who these clients were, and ultimately the pressure came from them to not deal with brokers who were taking on prop firm traders, and ultimately, as the prop firms, they had to find new software providers and had to find new brokers. So what's kind of spiraled on from there is a situation where these firms have scrambled, either shut down because they can't find other brokers or they can't find other platforms to use. And you've had situations where these firms have tried to integrate into other platforms. So there have been a few sort of providers who have stepped up, for new brokers who have stepped up to try to take their place. And I'm led to believe that the integration hasn't been as simple as anticipated in a lot of the cases. So it's been a very difficult process. On top of that, the industry had a bit of a crescendo. You know, what started with 5, 10 firms became hundreds of firms. The barrier to entry became so easy. And naturally, when you have such competition, the margins become smaller and smaller as certain criteria were getting cut, sort of like the time limits, people offering, get your money back if you pass challenges. So there became liquidity issues. And that's on the surface. When you unpack that from a bigger level, what you'll actually see is the model of collecting registration fees versus having to pay out with no knowledge or ability to manage risk is ultimately what's come down as the crux of it. And that's where we're at today. And we are seeing an industry right now that's undergoing huge changes with, every month there seems to be another firm shutting down at the moment.
Okay, thank you. So within that context, Greg, what can proprietary trading firms, whether they be individuals or whether proprietary traders, whether they be individuals or firms, so what can prop firms do to mitigate against the challenges that you've just described?
When you look at these firms, I mean, you can't speak for everybody. Every firm is different in a sense, but what surprises me is they all seem to offer a very similar model. And as I sort of alluded to in the previous question, is the model ultimately is coming under scrutiny. So I think prop trading as an industry has become huge over the last few years, but ultimately the model I do believe needs changing, and I do think we will ultimately get to a point where the prop industry would look different to what it looks like today. Even from a regulatory perspective, I'd imagine it'll become more regulated. Certainly feels like there's talk about that at the moment. So I think we're in for a big change in the coming years.
Okay. With the evolution of proprietary trading, what will a successful proprietary trading company look like in the future? What are the attributes of a prop trader 3-5 years from now, do you think?
So I'd like to look at Axi Select as the example in that space. We feel very confident in our model as a trader-centric model, as a model that actually gives traders a fair and realistic opportunity. So as I alluded to at the beginning, we don't charge registration fee. It's 100% free to join. And traders get the exact same account as our Axi traders. So they can even choose. They want a pro account or a standard account. It's all real life account, no registration fees, no evaluations.
Right.
So it's almost bringing it back into the broker world. We don't have these restrictive trading conditions. When people look at Axi Select, they look at three things. In fact, when traders look at prop firms, look at three things. How much will I get paid? What's the percentage that I can keep? And what's my registration fee? And when you look at those three things, you actually lose sight of the bigger picture. Because I could say to you, you can get $5 million, keep 100% of it, and it's free. But if you have hard trading restrictions and your trading conditions are difficult, you're not going to make money anyway. And that's where we pride ourselves is we have very unrestricted trading conditions. We don't have anything like high watermark levels, what you can lose daily drawdowns. You have full capability to trade over news events. You can hold positions over weekends. So we give that realistic and fair opportunity to traders. And that's more important than what you can get and how much you can keep. But because people are so fixated on that, unfortunately, when it's very difficult to generate returns because the conditions aren't there, or it's very difficult, if you have to do it up to a certain amount of days, or you can't over weekends, you can't trade over news, or you can't lose this in a day. So we take a very different take in that sense. I would tell you, like I tell everybody, trading's difficult. If you're going to get $1 million off funds, you're going to be a very, very good trader. Not everyone's going to get there. But what we can do as a firm is to provide you with the tools. So we have a dashboard, a leaderboard, an edge score. We have a trading room, weekly webinars. So we're more than just a prop firm, more than just a funding program that's charging registration fees, trying to profit from registration fees. We're basically giving traders a fair opportunity. At the same time, we have a score that judges traders' their performance. And ultimately, the higher your score will lead you to more and more wealth funding. So we firmly believe we've created a model that is very different to the prop firm as a whole, and very confident in what that looks like going forward.
Okay. When we think about Axi Select, what are the specific segments that you're targeting in the sort of short to medium term, whether that be by geography or by client type? What are the segments that make most sense?
So when you look at Axi Select and the way we've structured and set up, we capsulate the prop firm industry as an alternative to the traditional prop firms, as a way of offering, as I sort of spoke about, more trader-centric as opposed to the speculative side of it. But the other thing is, if you're looking at traders at other brokers, we're saying to traders at other brokers that if you're trading $500 or $1,000 with your broker, if you join Axi Select, you can do the same thing. At the same time, you have an account with our funds in that trades alongside it. So we're quite broad in the sense that we appealing to traders at other brokers as well as the prop firm space because of how it's set up with the two separate accounts. Traders still trade their own account like they'll do at a broker. It's just they have our funds on the side, which they entitled to share in the profits of as well.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, Greg Rubin, head of Axi Select, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
It's been good to talk to you. Thank you.
Pleasure to speak to you. Thank you very much.